Three, two, one. What's going on, everybody? And welcome to my channel again. Today I'm joined by my friend Steven, but you can call him Gary.
Yes,
Steven,
yes, you can.
Steven, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty well. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. So why do people call you Gary? And what's that all about?
That's actually a story that I haven't told on my YouTube channel yet, but I will definitely tell it here because I'm going to do that eventually. But
Okay.
when I was in high school, I had a classmate who, for the life of him, could not remember my name. Every
Okay.
time he tried to remember, for some reason, Gary is what entered his mind. So one day he asked me, "Can I just call you Gary?" And I said, "Sure, fine, just call me Gary." I'm not sure whether he was, trying to be a jerk or whether he was actually sincere about it, but at the
Mm.
time I didn't care, and he called me Gary for the entire rest of the year.
And that has stuck with you so much that it became your YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, it stuck with me so much that it became my YouTube channel, and it was specifically because I said to him, "Sure, you can just call me Gary."
I like that because my whole JayLiebs thing came from when I was DJing back in high school. People just shouted out at one of the first parties, DJ Liebs, DJ Liebs. And then I went to college and people called me JayLiebs, but I didn't tell them that. So it just became like this natural nickname for me because obviously it's the shortened version
Hmm.
of my first and last name.
Yeah.
So it's really easy for people. But when I started getting into social media and everything, I saw that it was available and was like, this is me across everything. This is my name. I don't even have to think about it.
And
This
honestly,
is me.
that's one of the nicest things is being able to get your name across everything, across all platforms.
Hmm.
Like, I haven't been able to do that. Like,
I'm,
seriously,
I'm I'm
on,
laughing because we talked about this before and how frustrating it is. You wanted to like scrap everything at one point.
well, yeah, I mean, on Instagram,
Yeah.
I'm just calling me Gary with two R's, Garry,
Yeah.
because the regular just call me Gary wasn't available.
Is it
And
being used? Is like somebody actually making use of that, or is just
no, they
like a
just, they
ghost
just,
account?
they just have it and they haven't posted in like 3 years or something.
Hmm.
So, that's something that's frustrating, but I
Yeah.
mean, I've got it in most places. I was surprised to get it on Twitter, but that was back in 2010 when I actually nabbed that. So,
Yeah, I've been dealing with that with JasonLiebman.com. Somebody's parked it for the longest time, and they haven't done anything with it. And I'm just like, I want to be the Jason Liebman. That would be great. But for
yeah.
now, I'm the JayLiebs. So whether people call you Gary or Steven or Steve or hey, look, there's that guy in that hat. Uh,
I've gotten that too.
what is it that you do online?
I write and draw a webcomic called Reality Quest, and
Okay.
I also do animation for my YouTube channel, which is Just Call Me Gary.
Yep. And so how would you describe to somebody who's never seen your Reality Quest comic what what it's about and what they could expect from it?
Oh, let's see here. So essentially the kind of tagline I have for myself is I'm just an idiot on the internet making comics, and that's pretty much what Reality Quest is about, is the funny but sometimes absurd things that happen
Mhm.
in my life, or the hilarious things that people say. Sometimes, like, we'll get into a situation, oh, wouldn't it be funny if that happened, and I say, yeah, I'm gonna make that into a comic now.
Yep. And I've seen that firsthand, and I've watched it go from us sitting in a FameBit lounge at VidCon
Yep.
to that actually being the comic the next week. So usually the antics with Tim and Chance, two of
Mm-hmm.
our other friends that make regular appearances in your comic,
Palestrina.
and Palestrina, yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
I've seen less of her doing the dumb things that end up in the comic, and more of like actually seeing them do those dumb things. If that
Well,
makes sense.
I don't know that I think I've put Chance in the comic once. Tim's been
Okay,
in the comic since the very, very beginning.
then it's Tim.
Yeah, it's mostly Tim.
Yeah.
But now I
And
have Palestrina to do the play off of because, usually Tim and Palestrina aren't the ones in that whole, you know, as the punchline.
right.
Like they're usually the play for that, and the punchline usually ends up being myself or Arya.
And usually Arya's punchlines are a punchline at you in some way too, because you can't blame it all on a small child.
Oh no no no! The thing is, my punchlines are because I'm absurd. Her punchlines are because she's a child, and children are funny. I mean, you can joke with a child or joke about a child in a very adorable way and not
Mhm.
mean it harshly at all. But if you do the same exact thing, like you say the same thing to an adult, then it all of a sudden takes a whole new connotation.
Yeah, and I think it's because at least the way I've seen you portray Arya in your comic, it's that like she doesn't know that she did something. So the punchline is that it's like frustrating for you, and she goes about her day like whatever.
Yeah, pretty much.
So what started? What was the inception for starting this comic strip?
Oh
Because
boy.
that's how it started.
Um, Funny enough, the original idea for Reality Quest
Hmm.
came back in like 2008, 2007, 2008. It was
That's a
due
lot of
to
years ago.
something. Yeah, it was due to the fact that I worked at a sub sandwich place, and we had so many customers that were just funny or weird or just humorous in their own way. Like so many funny incidents that happened at work that I thought,
Mhm.
this would make a really good comic, just a really good like comic strip comic, like what you'd find in like a college newspaper or something. And I
Right.
decided, well, why not actually do that? So, like a normal person, I thought up ideas and didn't do anything about them until 2015, a whole, 7 years later.
Yeah, that I think adds up to 7.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't
eight,
proclaim to be a
seven,
math
15.
person,
And
but
I am a math person, so
you are a
it's
math
kind of
person.
bad for me.
Okay, so no excuses for you. You
Yeah,
got it
no.
right though.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations. My pupper producer over there fact checked you and said that you got it right.
Yay.
She's a small doggo because
Oh,
that's how we speak about it on the internet. Um, and if you saw my real fake news show, you know that she's my producer. That
now
nope, I know.
what type of dog is she?
She is a teddy bear, so a Bichon Shih Tzu
Okay.
crossbreed.
Oh,
And she's tiny and small. And last year, when she ran for president, according to my Instagram, her campaign was "Kill all squirrels."
that's actually a pretty good one, a pretty good campaign.
Yeah, I think so. For the doggos out there, it's something that they can all get behind. It's a goal that they're all trying to achieve in some way, shape, or form.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I
So
am,
yeah.
I will admit, I am not too much of a pet person. Like, dogs are adorable, cats are
Mhm.
funny, but I'm not the type of person to be like, oh yeah, I want a dog or a cat. I'm a fish person, and fish are still
What's it mean
pets.
to be a fish person?
Okay, I like fish. I like having a fish tank.
Hmm.
Um, I like just fish are my jam, but I treat them like a living decoration because I mean, yes, they're
That's
still
what they
pets.
are.
You need to care for them. You
Mhm.
absolutely have to treat them well, but they're also very, very, very pretty to look at.
Mhm.
But by fish person, you've heard of a crazy cat lady.
Absolutely. That's why I really want to nail home what this fish person is.
Yeah, well, this essentially crazy fish person. There was one
Okay.
point where I had like I think the highest I ever had in my tank was like 40 or 50 fish
Okay.
because my fish had babies
Oh
and there
no.
were a lot of them and then they kept doing that. So I had like
They tend to do that.
a molly and 50 guppies. But yeah,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, I like fish a lot and that's actually kind of funny because right now I'm working on my next animation and it's
Okay.
all about one of my fish incidents.
Oh no. A
Hmm.
fishidin.
but well no, what I find hilarious about that is the fact that it's about one of my fish incidents. There's way more than one. But this is just the first one that I wanted to tell. It's my first story animation because I did a few shorts before, and now I'm trying to get into like doing more long form stuff.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And so you said that this is going to be for an animation?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's the other side of what you're doing with the YouTube channel
Yes.
now. So you have the comic strip,
Mhm.
and that's been doing well, right?
It has. I believe
Yeah,
I am number 6 on the top webcomics list right now.
that's awesome.
Yeah, I tend to maintain somewhere between 4 and 9 usually
Yeah,
when I'm
so
keeping up on work.
when you're actually following through with those uploads.
Yeah, there are times like, oh, I don't need to do a comic today. I can do it on my next upload, which is supposed to be 2 days from now. And then 2 days, I sit there and go, I don't need to do a comic today. I can do it, on my next upload 2 days from now. And
Right.
then I do that for like a month and a half, and then realize, oh, I don't have any content.
I slipped down to 7, damn it.
No, I need to maintain my spot.
So how did you go from doing the comic strip into doing the animation for it? I know it's kind of like, in your head, you're probably thinking about the movement and everything, but that's a different skill set. So can you talk about that for a little bit?
I actually did learn animation when I was in high school. I
Okay.
took a web design class which taught how it taught Fireworks,
Mm,
Dreamweaver. Fireworks is kind of an imaging software
okay.
for websites where you can kind of design a website and it is built for that. And then Dreamweaver is for coding HTML, and then we actually also learned Flash while I was in that class, and that's what got me started into learning animation. And I did do some corny, dumb little things for my own amusement for a while, but then I kind of just stopped because I had other things that were going on, other things to do, like video games and such. But recently, with seeing all the YouTube animators, it really kind of
Mm,
got me into wanting to do that again. And especially Palestrina, my wife, who animates as well. I sat there and was like, I really want to get back into that because I remember it being fun and
mm,
she has so much fun with it. And I want to be able to help her, but also do some of my own stuff because I knew that there are ideas for my comic that don't work in a static form like a comic where
right.
they work so much better in an animation. So I decided, why not start doing that again? So I pretty much I did.
And you just kind of picked up with the same tools that you were somewhat familiar with before, or like
I
what are you
actually did
using?
not.
So,
I
so what are you using to do your animations?
I used to use Flash and now I use After Effects.
Okay.
Um, Mostly because I completely forgot most of my Flash training, and since Palestrina uses After Effects, I can sit here and go, "Hey, how do you do this? I
And
need
then you
help with
can
that."
then you can make an animation about that and have like a whole meta episode.
Well, I do have meta comics, so it
Yeah.
wouldn't be out of my content.
Wheelhouse. Yeah, that too. Um, yeah. So now that you're doing the animation stuff and you're on YouTube and everything, your first one was the floor is lava one, right?
It was,
I
yes.
remember that from VidCon this year.
Hmm.
Um, and so how do you feel kind of now being a small YouTuber playing in this space and also as an animator, which we know notoriously takes more time than like the complete other end of the spectrum. Some
Yeah.
idiot with a YouTube channel on a cell phone can just pump out content all day and do stupid things whenever they want.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Uh, Being a small YouTuber in the space is both nice and kind of at the same time. It's nice because I don't have to worry really about anything. I can do content on my schedule pretty much when I want to. Um, but at the same time, it's kind of like, yeah, but if this is something that I really want to do, which it is something that I really want to do, I kind of
Mm,
really need to work to get myself out there a bit more. Um, but what is nice about animation, because as you were saying, animation takes a lot longer than just somebody doing a vlog series. But
yeah.
what's nice about it is a lot of other genres on YouTube, a lot of other niches, you're competing against somebody else for watch time. You're competing against somebody else to say, hey, no, come to my channel because I've
Right.
got better content that you want to watch. But with animation, it's really nice because the animators tend to bounce off of each other. And like, you know that an animation is going to take at least 2 weeks, 3 weeks to potentially do. So you go to the other animators to watch their content.
Mhm.
So like you have other animators on YouTube to keep those who are interested in YouTube animation busy until the next piece of content of yours comes out.
So
So it's
you'd,
kind of like
yeah.
everybody working in collaboration to a
I,
degree.
I was just going to ask that. I was going to say, do you feel like the YouTube animators are a more tight knit community, or does
Yes,
it just kind of happen from their audience?
no, I actually think that like they themselves are a more tight knit community because a lot of
Mm.
times you'll see definite collaborations between animators where they'll do something together and then each one will like come out with their own video for it. So like we'll take a couple of the bigger animators like James from the Odd Ones Out and then Jaden Animations do collaborate quite frequently where they will like do some sort of art challenge where James will pick one and Jaden will pick another one, and they'll both do that. And one of them will be on one of their channels, and the other will be on the other channel.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel like the animation community on YouTube collaborates definitely, like just a lot. Like everybody seems to be very tight knit and just, supportive of one another, which is very nice to me.
Yeah, that is very nice. I know, like I see a lot of that collaboration now that I'm in more of like the business YouTube type of community. Like
Hmm.
finding any community in general seems to lead to that collaboration. Like I'm doing a lot of these interviews to start off with people that I've met through networking or who have become my friends in this industry, like
Hmm.
you guys being you and Pal.
Right.
Uh, and and being able to just talk with my friends that are also doing awesome things and creating different types of things, and hopefully I could showcase what you're working on a little bit, and that this is just a fun time for people watching too. I know I'm a little tired today, so I'm trying to keep my energy going.
I've always got my energy going somehow. Like I could animate
Somehow.
until late, late, late in the evening, and then wake up a few hours later and go, okay, let's go.
You're incredibly energetic. I just need to put you into Disney. I think that's the only thing that will actually sap your energy, because you'll actually be able to have enough space to spend it all.
Well, even then, I'm not sure. Usually by the end of a day, like if we start Disneyland in the morning and
Yep.
then end Disneyland in the late evening, I'm usually still like,
By
yeah,
late
no, I'm
evening,
I'm
you mean
I'm still
midnight,
good.
right?
Like, yeah, I might be ready to leave, but I've
Yeah,
still got energy until I sit down in the car. Then I pass out.
true. Just hopefully you're not driving then.
Usually not, but
Okay.
sometimes I am. I don't pass out when I'm driving, but I do have to like slap Tim sometimes, be like, "Hey, you, stay awake, keep me awake, keep me, keep me entertained."
Poke the bear.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I wanted to bring all that up mostly to talk about how networking has been an effect on you and coming up with all this new content, and specifically what like Stephen Pressfield will call turning pro. Because I've seen with you over like the last year or so, because we've known each other for a couple of years through
Hmm.
the Lone Wolves and VidCon, just how you went out of focus there for a second,
Oh,
bro.
sorry. Am I back in focus? There we go.
You're back in focus now. Thank you.
Yay.
See, it's recorded, but we'll act like it's live. um, but yeah, so you and I have talked about this before, how the power of networking kind of like can increase your game and how you feel included in this. So, just what are some of your thoughts on that, and how has that helped you? Maybe for somebody else that's trying to come up in this right now, how is getting out there and meeting people and everything helped you?
Well, I mean, one of the big things is that my comic can't exist without other people. Like, if it was literally just about me doing funny things, I mean,
Mm,
it would not be nearly as interesting as it is because it has other people in it, other people that exist in my life who also say or do funny things, who contribute to the various um, incidents, I want to say, that happened. So I do rely a lot on other people being around. So networking is something that is very important to me, because
Mm,
without meeting all these other people, I wouldn't be able to have the content that I have. But I know some people do have a little bit of trouble with networking. I, for one, definitely can be shy at times, though I usually do come out of my shell a bit during VidCon. But it's definitely something that is really helpful, because you'll find a lot of people that are supportive of what you do, especially those who are also in your same niche. I
mm,
mean, it never hurts to have help and other people who are willing to support you, and that's what
right.
really networking is to me. But it also doesn't hurt when you can say, hey, I'm going to put you in a comic, because then they kind of share that comic around like, I've been in a comic, and then it's just like, yay, free advertising.
Yeah, that is awesome. But also, like, how is the networking with people that are also in doing what you're doing, the animators and the comic creators and stuff like that? So the people that, like, because I know this with my own work, right? Over the last
Mhm.
like 3 years, I've gone from somebody who saw a lot of these YouTubers and filmmakers and entrepreneurs and all the other things that I want to say that I do. And I never thought of myself as one of them.
Mhm.
And then there was a moment that came, probably, I think it was like two VidCons ago, where I was just like,
That was
um,
the one that, no, two VidCons ago was
so not this
2016, right?
past one, yes,
Okay.
2016. Yeah. And I was just like, I was there for the first time with my friend Roberto, and I realized, like, it was that self-reflection kind of in the moment where you realize, oh wait, I know what I'm talking about. Oh wait, I'm good at what I'm doing. So maybe I should do more of it, and that recognition that being included in the actual group, right, of
Mhm.
creators, not just like people who like YouTube.
Right.
Um, that did a lot for my motivation personally, like to actually start doing stuff and do it with confidence and do it like I know what I'm doing rather than doubting myself. I've seen a lot of that from you, and we talked about it a little bit. So, kind of more on that side of the networking, how has been meeting people actually in the industry?
Meeting people in the industry has actually been quite wonderful. I don't think that I'm quite at that same level that you were describing before. I think I'm in that
Mm,
like transition period, going
which
from
is
the,
fine.
well, it's just, it's my stuff, and now going, well, actually it seems like I do have something to contribute. I'm kind of
Right.
in that transition period right now where I'm starting to realize, hey, people actually really do like what I do and want to see more. And I think one of the things that's really helped that along is this last VidCon, I met a
Mm,
bunch of different creators, and I actually met a lot of the animators as well. And
mm,
just about all of them said, "Dude, your stuff, like, keep doing it
yeah.
because you're funny." Like, I know I met James, the Odd Ones Out, as
Mm,
I mentioned him earlier, but I met him, and he actually remembered me from last year, from 2016 VidCon,
wow.
and said, "Yeah, I checked out your stuff. Your comic is good. Your animation, like." I just told him that I had started doing animations too, and he said, "Oh, that's super awesome." So he looked at them. He likes them, which is something that really kind of boosts my confidence to have somebody who, I
Yeah.
mean, he was one of the people who I saw doing animation on YouTube and thought, hey, that's actually really cool. I want to do that. I want to have fun doing animations as well. So to have, him come back and tell me that he liked my stuff kind of really boosted my confidence.
Right.
And like, but I mean, I met a bunch of the different animators, and they all pretty much said I wouldn't be surprised to see you on a panel in one of the next VidCons coming up if
That
you keep
must.
keep doing your stuff. And this is actually really really confidence boosting.
Yeah, that must feel amazing to have that, and especially like you said, at a point where you're still trying to figure everything out,
Hmm.
where you have the whole "just call me Gary" thing, and you have Reality Quest. These are like branded thing, branded.
Yeah.
As a marketer, I'm like tired of it in a sense when it comes to the branding thing.
Yeah.
It's just like let's call it what it is.
For me, it's just like I don't know that I really think about branding very
Right.
much as it's just like I have my signature item, which is my hat, something that is recognizable.
But you
And
have a certain style to your artwork, and I
yeah.
would call that the branding of it, right? Like I think me personally, and just to vent like very very small rant.
Hmm.
When it comes to the marketing side of things, I think too many people are putting the cart before the horse, so to speak. They're trying to come up with what their brand is before they know what they're doing.
Right.
And I've seen the opposite with you, which is why I think you might be saying you don't know what your brand is. Like Reality Quest has a certain look. You draw your characters a certain way. That kind of transferred over your to the animations, obviously.
Hmm.
Like just your Rayman body styles, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if most people know that game. Was that part of the inspiration? Or was it just that you didn't
It
want to draw arms and legs?
it was actually not part of the inspiration. I didn't even
Okay.
think about Rayman being similar until you literally just mentioned it now. Um, yeah, right. So
90s nerds.
I definitely have more drawing skills than Reality Quest, but I wanted to go
Yeah.
for kind of a simple style. I wanted it to look almost like at the very beginning, one of the effects that I had, I wanted it to almost look kind of like child hand drawn, like
Hmm.
simple drawings because, it's not some complicated action piece. It's just
Right.
a funny comic strip. So I wanted it to be simple like a comic. Um, but like I really didn't plan out like, okay, what do I want to do from a brand, anything like that? Because I thought, if you look at other comic artists, you look at other people who started out, a lot of times you'll see they've started out and they just did, and
Mm.
their whole thing, their whole art style, their branding, their everything just kind of evolved with their content and kind of naturally showed up, naturally became their brand. And
Mhm.
that I kind of
It's okay.
wanted to do it that way,
Mm.
where I worried less about the brand and more about the content because the content to me is what matters. And then eventually it would evolve to that state.
Yeah. I'm old school. I think that is your brand in a sense, right? Like I
Hmm.
think that's why I said I think a lot of people are trying to put the cart before the horse, because I think like a brand is that there's this repeatable validated, like you're expecting a certain quality, a certain style, a
Hmm.
certain fit, like when it comes to clothing or something like that. So
Right.
it's that
You're the
consistent expectation of whoever's creating something. I would say that's their brand.
Yeah.
Like I have the red walls and the sadly the beard that's going to have to go away temporarily soon, but this will probably come out when that has already happened.
Hmm.
But
Right.
long story short, I got a temp job for the holidays, and we'll have to be shaving the beard for compliance. uh
But the best part is hair grows back, so you can have it back. Like just after the holidays, you can grow it back.
Most hair grows back.
Okay, this is true. See, I'm not at that stage yet, but like
Yeah,
my hairline recedes
yeah.
at the sides first. So my hair that I still have has masked it, but
Mhm.
I definitely take after my father.
Yeah, I take after my grandfather. My dad, I think, lost his later, or just started balding a little bit later than
Oh,
now, but he still has hair. But
that's that's lucky.
yeah, it is.
I'm glad I have a hat because then I can mask my hair loss.
Yeah, I normally have a hat. Like I got the fedora for
Mhm.
one look. I got the winter hats will be coming out soon because it's been freezing over here. I know you're not familiar with that.
No, no, I am in sunny Southern California.
And
Yeah, where
I'm in New Jersey.
see one of the funniest things I think about being in California is to me
Mhm.
50 degrees is like I need a jacket, it's freezing outside. To you 50 degrees is like
The
I can wear
perfect
short
day.
sleeves.
50 degrees, 60 degrees, that's like a perfect day given the other extremes.
You can easily tell tourists to San Diego for that exact reason, because anybody who lives
Mm.
here will be in long pants and a sweatshirt in like 50, 55 degrees, and anybody from like the colder climates will be coming out in shorts and short sleeves going, man, this is that temperate climate that everybody kept talking about for Southern California. And I'd be sitting there going, it gets warmer.
Well, when I was just out in LA
Yeah.
for Vid Summit, it
Hmm.
wasn't a warm week.
No.
No. And
No.
a lot of people there were like, it's freezing. I'm like, you know what? It is colder than I expected. It's cold at all.
Yeah, we are in a desert out here.
Mm,
So, like, it definitely freezes overnight. Like, a lot of people think, oh, Southern California, it's sunny all the time, it's warm all the time, and it does freeze. Like, we've had temperatures in the 20s
mm,
overnight sometimes in wintertime. Because, I mean, again, deserts get cold at night, and that carries over into the mornings, sometimes
mm.
into the afternoons, but usually it warms up by the late afternoon, which is nice, and then it starts the cycle all over again. But it's still nice and sunny, so you can still call it sunny Southern California. You just can't call it warm Southern California.
See, that's the sleight of hand marketing there. It's always sunny, but not always warm,
Exactly.
just like Philadelphia. So where can people find all these awesome things that we've talked about? You have reality question, you have just call me Gary.
Hmm.
So
So just call me Gary can be found, you can find me on YouTube, literally youtube.com/ just call me Gary will take you there.
with one
Reality.
R in that case, right?
Hmm?
With one R in that
Yes,
case.
with one R in that case,
Yeah.
absolutely. Reality Quest, you can usually find me on the top webcomics list as one of the top comics,
Mm.
and you can click that and take you straight to the site. Otherwise, it's kind of a little bit long, but it's rq.skyrocketcreation.com.
We'll put
But
that down in the description.
you can also just go to justcallmegary.com and it does all the same stuff. I wanted to
Boom.
make it easy
There's
for people coming from the YouTubes.
he's learning. He's
Yeah.
learning. He's learning this marketing and branding stuff.
Hmm.
Not
I'm
at all from hanging out with me.
I'm
Uh,
about to like redo my website so it has like when you go to the homepage, it's got a, a link for you to go to YouTube, a link
mhm.
for you to go to oh, I bumped my microphone, a link for you to go to YouTube, a link for you to go to Reality Quest, and then a link to various social media underneath,
Yeah.
which is essentially going to be the whole website to allow more streamlined direction for traffic.
Just like landing page that's like find all the stuff that I do. There you
Yep,
go.
yep, pretty much. That's exactly what I was thinking with it.
It's a good idea. I like it. Um, any final thoughts or maybe advice for people that might be just, let's say, one or two steps behind you? Somebody that wants to do this stuff but maybe isn't even in that transitional period between amateur and turning pro.
Um, the pretty much the advice that I give to anybody who asks, who wants to hear it, is just keep going at it. Sometimes it might get tough, sometimes it might get discouraging. I know I have been in that place where I've thought there's no way that my comic or my animations are actually going to go anywhere, but if you keep persevering, keep pushing at it, you'll get there. Like if you think about it, I was asked the other day, how come nobody talks about the people who quote unquote fail at doing YouTube? And my response was because the people who are successful on YouTube are the ones that really stayed with it and tried. Not everybody is successful overnight. In fact, most people, if anybody is successful overnight, it takes a lot of work and determination. But the people who have become successful via YouTube or comics or whatnot is because they kept pushing forward. So that's usually my advice: is keep going. It can get tough, but keep going.
I really like that. And on that awesome note, thank you very much for coming on my show today.
Well, thank you for
Ev-
having me on your show.
You're quite welcome. It's always fun hanging out with you. And to everybody watching this at home or on your phone or wherever it is that you watch my videos, if you watch them at all, please watch my videos.
Mine too.
Yeah, and Well, that was the next thing I was going to say. If you didn't interrupt me, no,
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm kidding.
I'll keep my
No.
mouth shut
This,
over here.
this is what happens when two friends get online and start talking about each other, trying to act professional.
Yeah, right.
Um, so go check out his YouTube channel. Just call me Gary, and for Reality Quest, everything will be down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching this today,
Thank you.
and thank you for joining me. Till next time.
Bye.
Bye.